All right, we're back again with another episode of Shoot the J. As always, we have Don Jackson here, Tyrone Jackson, and our first question of the day always is, what are you drinking?
Powerade.
Powerade. I'm the only alcoholic? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Got a little screwdriver here this morning.
All right.
I need this today.
Yes. Get the electrolytes in you.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? We're going to do a little something different, something a little bit different. We have our guest in. We're going to bring him in a little bit early. And so they can talk about all the topics with us.
Okay.
Go with it.
Oh, my word.
Oh, no.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on?
My boy?
Dorian, what's happening, man?
Yeah, I'm chilling. What's going on with you, man?
All right.
Nothing much. I want to introduce everybody to Dorian Rawles, coach of the Milne Raiders.
No, sir. No, sir.
Owner of the Milne Raiders, CEO of the Milne Raiders.
No, sir. New Orleans Monarchs.
The New Orleans Monarchs.
Come on, Dave. Where did you get that? Man, you guys starting off the show with bad information.
The New Orleans Monarchs travel baseball team has been to the World Series many, many times. Y'all won several championships, I believe, as well, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we continue. We still playing. We still playing. We got a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old travel baseball team now. We playing this weekend in Chalmette, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wow.
Good luck,
Dorian.
Out there.
Appreciate that.
Right. And also, for those who don't know, New Orleans Monarchs is named after one of the Negro Leagues teams from back in the day. So that was very, very important.
Kansas City Monarchs. That's our muse, the Kansas City Monarchs.
Nice.
So we could go over this man's professional accolades for a lot of time, but all he probably really wants us to know is by Zulu representative, and also by Clark Bulldog is also what he'd love to go.
Right. Anything else is make sure you put Clark Bulldogs first. Anything else is uncivilized, baby.
we could go with that. Our dad graduated from Clark. You know, we can go with that.
Yeah, right.
We did
y'all
both
come
dads
from good
have
stock.
them out as Clark.
I don't know what happened to y'all. Y'all took a left turn on Kellerick instead of going straight up to Esplanade. But
so safety.
That was the safest. That was
that was a safe left turn. I tied. That was a safe left turn.
It sure was.
I worked at Clark, so you know.
Clark was a bastion of safety, man. We have no problems.
You put your gun on safety.
I enjoyed my time working there.
All right. Well, you trying to bounce back, Don. You trying to bounce back.
See that? Give me a little bounce back, Dorian.
Well, Dorian, I brought you in a little bit earlier. We normally save you the guest for the last segment, but I said let's go ahead and bring him in on all the topics.
I thought the topic today was interesting, man, on the one that you sent me, you know.
Well, let's start off with that one. Who is the best athlete to ever come out of New Orleans? Dorian, you're the guest. We'll let you start it off.
Oh man, I think you got to break that down into eras. There's no way you could talk about New Orleans got so much talent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can you talk about eras, man. We talk about I'm an '80s baby, so I'm partial to some guys that I played with and against and coached in the '90s, 2000s. So I think that's an incredibly difficult task when you start talking about the best athletes. I mean, man, I played with some of the best. You talk about Ryan Wise, Christopher Neal Joseph, Ulysses Bentley, man, the guys, John McDonough had, what's that boy name, was the quarterback, Steve Vanner. Man, I'm talking about some tremendous guys, man. Clinton James, Robert Packnett, basketball-wise, there was Perry McDonald, Ronald Doucette. I mean, Tim Singleton. I mean,
what about Marshall Faulk? What do you think about Marshall Faulk?
Marshall Faulk he's definitely up there. He's definitely in the top 10. But I was coaching when Marshall Faulk was doing this thing at Carver. Now you got to remember when Marshall Faulk was doing this thing, we had a guy, Booker Washington,
Oh yeah.
Keith James was on par with everything that Marshall did at the high school level. So again, we got to talk about errors, man. You know, you'll get shot dead depending on what neighborhood you're in. Talking about who the best athlete, but again, man, you got to realize during that era, man, Marshall was certainly doing his thing. But there was a guy right after Marshall, boy wound up going to Grambling. I can't remember his name. Was a wingback, a tremendous athlete at Carver as well. I can't remember his name, but you know, they have sprung this on me a little late. I didn't get a chance to do my research. Y'all know I like to come with my documentation and facts, but right. I think when we talk about the greatest athletes, man, you know, I'm a football and baseball man, but you know, certainly basketball-wise, we've had some tremendous guys, and football.
What's your boy? What's your boy that came from 35, played for Kansas City? Neil Smith.
I played at junior high with Neil Smith.
My pick was Neil Smith.
Man, you played with Neil Smith,
at Gregory Junior High. Neil Smith was a freakish type athlete, man.
Yeah.
That's Philadelphia.
Who's from New Orleans, a boxer?
You talk about is Willie Pep from way back in the day.
Yeah, but I mean, when you talk about that, you know, we got Regis Prograis. Regis is a tremendous
athlete, yeah. Man. And then
Don's boy,
Super D Duplessis challenged Don to a fight. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I put him up there with some of the guys that we mentioned.
I would. Don would put him up.
Don, he challenged Don to a fight.
No, man, that's not how the story went. He asked everybody in my class. He showed up at 35 one day and walked into class, and he was previewing before his big fight, his next fight. And he wanted people to hit him in his abs so that we could, you know, see how strong he was. And I said, in his abs, in his stomach. And I said, he pointed out to me, you big fella, come up. I said, man, I don't want to punch you. You might have a reflex action and knock me out of here in this high school classroom, right? So he said, no, come hit me. So I gave him a little modest punch. He said, man, you can hit harder than that. And I said, you know, he was tight. His abs were tight and everything, but you know, you always take a risk hitting a boxer. That's a risk I wasn't ready to take.
Yeah, something wrong with a guy that just asks people to voluntarily come up and punch him, though, man. I'm not sure that might have been. I don't know if I want this guy to be my investment banker, but you know. But again, man, I think, man, when you talk about great athletes in this city. Oh, man, you know, we could go back all the way to Rosie Taylor and, you know, come on, man, you know, man, we got guys come out this city. I tell you, 35 had some guys. The guy was quarterback, Al Tapp. You know, man, we got guys. I mean, I'm just talking about guys that I'm familiar with. You know, right. I'm not a historian on this, but, you know, I've coached and played and coached with a lot of guys, but
my homeboy.
Hey, man, like I said, people forget how great Perry McDonald was.
Yes.
Yeah. Perry was 6'3", 6'4" tops and dominated the city scoring from the low post inside out, and then went and played in the low post at 6'4" at Georgetown University.
Guys, we can't forget about Randy Livingston either. Was a monster.
Randy Livingston, no doubt.
Randy Livingston was a monster.
Randy Livingston, right?
Like I was saying,
you're talking about guys. I guess you know, you have to attribute. I don't know if we just talking about high school and not what they did on the next level, or because you know when you talk about what a guy done on the next level, Odell Beckham's certainly up there athletically. This guy's a freak of nature athletically, man.
Yeah. Don,
do you consider?
Great, Don.
On that, you know, if you're just looking at his contribution to football.
And Fournette might have been, listen, I watched that boy play all of his high school games and as a Nord superstar. You know, This kid might have been one of the most dominant forces in football history.
No doubt.
You know, and like I said, he was too much. But then again, man, you got to come back, think about kids like a Speedy Noel from Carr.
Yeah.
Just absolutely dominant, you know?
Well, we went to UNO. Tony Harris was like off the charts with athleticism and
freakish athletic ability.
And he could play wide receiver too. I remember he tried out for the NFL. He didn't really play football, but he was fast.
When you talk about guys that do like that, let's not forget Terence Jones, the quarterback at Tulane. But he's not necessarily from New Orleans, but he played in the New Orleans region. But let me tell you something, man. Like I said, there's no way nobody could narrow this down to even a top 10 without a tremendous argument, because as a coach, and I went to watch Ryan Perrilloux as a fan. Man, this kid in high school could have been just as successful in baseball as he was in football. Ryan Perrilloux he was something to see. But then again, the River Parishes guy, they had some tremendous guys. You talk about Ed Reed, Rondell Miller. Let me tell you something. We still haven't mentioned Skylar Green. I don't know if you all remember Skylar.
Yeah.
Dominant, man. Tyrone Hughes at St. Augustine.
Yeah,
played for Chicago. At Clark. I'm telling you, man, these guys were just, talent was ungodly, man. It's unworldly. I'm telling you, these guys are something else, man.
Let's break it down in the 2000s. Who do y'all think? And let's say football in 2000s. Is it Leonard Fournette? Is it Tyrann Mathieu?
I got to put Leonard Fournette and Speedy Noel up there, man.
Okay.
That's in the 2000s. That's the two. Like I said, that's the cusp of. Like I said,
and Odell. I put Odell up there too.
Odell.
Oh, yeah, definitely Odell Beckham.
All right. What about basketball?
I don't know if Odell had the high school success that those two kids had. Now he certainly excelled in college and on the next level, but he was good in high school. But his numbers nowhere in the category of these two kids. These kids, you talk about Gatorade Player of the Year type stuff.
Here's another name that gets lost in the shuffle because he moved early, like his high school and college. Clyde Drexler was born in New Orleans too.
I didn't know that.
So you got to.
I don't know if I put basketball players on the same par as football players. Man, you don't have to be that tough to throw the ball through a hoop like that, man.
Do you want to count? You don't want to say Peyton Manning is an athlete?
I think he was a skilled quarterback, but if we talk about athletes, no, he's not athletic at all. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Yeah, but I probably could still beat him in a race at 53 years old. 275 pounds. Come on, man.
You can beat him in a 40 D?
Yeah, I'm smoking.
And Eli.
I'll be doing a Deion Sanders on him with my hand behind my back. Him and Eli. I'll shine on them. I don't even have to stretch.
Don,
go ahead, Tyrone.
No, Don was going to say something. What you were going to say, Don?
Yeah, I say, you gotta give the Manning brothers their props. I mean,
no doubt,
talent and quarterback.
Now, athletically, Cooper was the better athlete than all of them.
Yeah.
Before he got hurt.
But you look at what they did, setting records at the collegiate level.
Oh man, no doubt. You can't take nothing away from them.
Right.
We can't. The 4Ks, you can't forget them too. Now you're talking about athletes. They were better athletes than the Mannings.
John Forquet was a tremendous athlete.
Yes.
But he clearly wasn't the passer. He wasn't the passer that those boys are. Right. But athletically, right. I'm saying when you talk about athletes.
Right. And so are we going to Don, your friend Clarence Chip Sims was a monster also, played for Georgetown as well.
Oh yeah. Lefty, have jumping ability out the gym and could finish. Full speed, going to the basket. I mean, there's not too many people could check him.
Let me throw a blast from the past out there from you guys. I don't know if you guys remember Calvin McGee, the tight end out of Booker, Washington that played in the pros, man. He was at Southern. And Calvin had a tremendous pro career. Calvin, and then he was a tremendous collegiate coach. I think he's still coaching on the collegiate level. But Calvin McGee was,
Did he go to Tampa, Dorian?
He played in Tampa for a while, right. Yeah. Calvin McGee.
Mm-hmm. They have his name in the stadium.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
You gonna jump on some boxing?
Yeah. Let's move on to the fight this weekend. We got Kell Brook and Terence Crawford. Brook is an underdog. Crawford hasn't fought in about 9 months or so. What's y'all take on this fight? Who do y'all pick for this fight?
We'll let our guests go first. We'll let it go.
I'm out of my league with boxing. I watch for pure enjoyment. I'm rooting for the guy that's hitting the hardest and the most.
Oh, you want Crawford to win?
Whether he wants.
I'm out of my league with boxing, man.
Gotcha. See,
I'm still hoping for Mike Tyson come back.
Oh, yeah, that's a good story, too.
Right.
Because Tyson had some words for Deontay Wilder, but let me answer this question. Okay, so I'll say this. I don't know if y'all recently saw what Kell Brook said, but Kell Brook said that usually he's had a problem with eating during the offseason and had to cut weight and to be in shape for boxing. But he says now he's fine-tuned, and he said he's the strongest he's ever been. And he said that Terence Crawford gonna get these brownies. That's what he said. He said these brownies, and he says Terence Crawford does not have a chin, and he said he's gonna test his chin out because he starts off fast, and Crawford's been rocked by a couple of people. He's been rocked by Gamboa, been by that Russian fighter that he fought, and he said that that he took everything. He said if Crawford could take his hits, then he is otherworld human. He's not human at all. That's what Kell Brook said.
So let me get this right. Brook is saying he's going to stand in the pocket with Terence Crawford in exchange is what he wants to do?
He said Crawford is going to run from him. He said he's going to get on his bicycle and run. But he said if he hits him, he said there's no way Crawford can take his hits. He said because he was dealing on Spence. That's what he said. He said, I was dealing on Spence, and Spence barely took his hits. That's what he said.
Don?
Kell Brook, I understand your bravado and all that good stuff. You're not cheesemo, you know what I'm saying? But we're talking about a man who didn't realize that his mama was paying kids in the neighborhood to box him and fight him $10 a head if they would beat him. And he whipped every single one of them in the neighborhood. And when he found out that his mom was paying him, he went to his mother and said, I told you, Mom, I'm the best. She couldn't even get anybody to beat him. This is how his boxing career took off in his teenage years, right? So he's fighting every bully in the neighborhood. The mama trying to pay somebody to beat him up. And then you're looking at, if you look at Crawford, he is very cagey. I don't see anybody landing like flush hits on him. Brook is a slinger. He's a puncher. He can be at that weight range. He is going to be bigger than Crawford, but can he touch him? And that's been a problem with boxers who fight against Bud. They cannot hit him. They want to hit him, but they can't touch him.
So my take on Crawford is he's as skilled as Errol Spence is, but he likes to bang and likes to hit in a way that Spence doesn't. Like he fought the little Russian guy the last time he fought. He was just taking punches just to see if he could take punches. And so Brook, who's notoriously delicate and fragile.
Dave, I told you I got this appointment coming up in the office, man. I was glad you guys invited me. Look forward to coming back, but I'm going to have to sign off.
We'll definitely have you on, my brother.
All right, gentlemen, look forward to it.
All right, Dorian.
So this guy's notoriously fragile. Okay, with his eye orbitals always getting hurt and always getting dropped. So you think the guy's not going to be able to take your punches? He's eating punches just for fun. He's a bit of a psychopath, if you ask me, Terence Crawford. So I really don't think that's the strategy you should go in to fight.
I was going to say that too. I was going to say most of all sports, once you get to a certain level, there's guys going to have maybe more physical gifts or as good as physical gifts as you have. So you got to count the mental into place. And so when you have somebody like Crawford who can get mad at the drop of a dime,
yes,
like it's like the Jordan story where he lied and said that the guy said something about him just so he can get mad. You know what I'm saying? It's like
and drop 50 on
you're already in a sport where somebody's coming after you to hit you. What more do you need? You know? And so if somebody like Kell Brook is saying he's gonna come get these brownies, somebody like Terence Crawford's like, I don't even like the word brownie. You know what I'm saying? I don't even eat brownies.
I don't like brownies.
He's gonna get these. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, you don't give those type of people any kind of extra motivation.
He has that power in both hands where he'll catch you with one of those off. It looks like an off lick, but it's really a planned angle by Crawford. I mean, how many times we've seen Crawford get in the fight and we're like, okay, Crawford, when you going to turn it on and get him out of here? And he does it. He does it. He gets tired.
Switch side and that's it.
I'm ready to put this guy on his butt.
You know, and the thing that you brought up about Michael Jordan getting angry, the difference between fighters and getting angry, with Terence Crawford, he's got the ability to get angry and then not lose his technique either in the ring. You know, whereas Wilder get mad and go wild on you, okay? This guy gets angry and he still retains his technique, you know? And as Don said, with the power in both hands, we can't forget that body shot he hit Ndongo with, who at the time, everybody was afraid of Ndongo. They were talking about he had bricks in his gloves and stuff, and he dropped him with a body shot. So I don't know what Brook is trying to do here, because I think it's going to be a short night if he tries to engage with
man,
Crawford.
Any type of combat sports is you imposing your will over another man. And that to get into that frame of mind is like that's deadly. You know what I'm saying? So you say you're gonna impose whatever your will is, your hatred, everything is to break this man down who's a man who trains like you train. You know what I'm saying? For me to push a little kid on the side is nothing. You know what I'm saying? But another grown man and say, I am going to subdue you to my will, whatever, that's you got to get out of that mindset. That's a crazy mindset to be in.
Right.
And to add some stats to what Ty is saying, Crawford has 11 knockouts in his last 14 fights. And pound for pound percentage punches landed, Crawford leads. He's second among all active boxers to fellow welterweight titleist Errol Spence by 48%. So this man is landing 48% of his power punches and second all-time only to Spence. That tells you this is dangerous. This is dangerous. Right. Especially with all that titanium he has up here. He has a lot of titanium all up and around here.
I want you to think about that for a minute. A guy's hitting 48% of his power punches. So imagine a guy hitting at you 10 times with hard power punches, and he hits you with 5 of those bad boys. I mean, what shape you think you're going to be in if a guy is landing basically 50%, half of his power punches on you, you know?
I will say this. The only way Kell Brook could win this fight if he has the first 2 great rounds, he jump on him. Because once Terence Crawford figure him out, that's it. But Kell Brook, he starts off quickly, and Terence Crawford, I saw the Gamboa fight just last night. They showed it. And it took him a while to make his adjustment. And then they were saying, well, why didn't he switch to southpaw earlier? Well, you know, you do what you do. Right. In the same way, reminiscent of Floyd Mayweather when Sugar Shane caught him early. That Sugar Shane said, man, I missed my opportunity. But when you're in it, you think you're going to have another opportunity.
Yes.
You know? And so if Kell Brook can just get in there early and get something cracking, then that's his only chance to me. He ain't going to win a long fight.
And I agree with Tyrone in the fact that he does have heart. Kell Brook has heart.
I agree.
He held his own against
Golovkin.
And Golovkin. I mean, when other people were, shrinking at the challenge. I really said, wow, Kell Brook. I'm not saying he's a chump by no means.
No, he only has 2 losses.
That's right. Right. He's no chump. This is a test for Crawford now. What kind of test?
We'll see. Guys, let's move on to NBA draft. Okay? What are some of y'all predictions for the NBA draft? What direction you think the teams are going in? Do you think teams who have a legitimate shot at winning something are going to trade for picks? Or what picks do you think people should be looking at?
I think this NBA draft is the most convoluted draft that I've seen in a long time. As far as teams needing pieces, I don't think a lot of pieces meet the need. So somebody like an Anthony Davis is a tall person who can handle a rock and shoot. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a need for that. But you have somebody like LaMelo and Golden State has like a high pick. What is their need? Why would you? Do you want to take the best pick? Do you want to take the best pick for you? Do you want to take a pick and trade them for somebody else? And I think that's what makes it convoluted is that nobody has a need that they're meeting. And think about this. There's rumors that Russell Westbrook wants out of Houston.
I heard.
So do you package up a high person to get somebody like Russell Westbrook? So, I mean, it's very convoluted. I think Obi-Wan, that cat is a good prospect for any. Yeah, Obi, what's his name?
Toppin.
Obi Toppin, yeah. He has that number 1 on his. I think he's a great pickup for anybody, but it's hard to say what if you're a GM. Usually, you try to meet the needs of your team in basketball right away. In football, you meet the needs of your team a year or 2 down the road. You know what I'm saying? But in basketball, you almost need an immediate return on your investment. And I can't call it. I just got to be honest. I can't call who's going to go where.
Don?
I mean, you got, like Tyrone said, you got LaMelo Ball, 6'7" guard. He's coming out. Looks like he might be number 1 in the draft. What team will he go to? We don't know who. Like Tyrone is saying, who has the need? You have 6'3" Anthony Edwards from Georgia, very good finisher, can make pull-up jumpers. Made 42 of his last pull-up jumpers in 32 games with ease. That's just some of the ratings he has.
They think that Golden State may get him, but he's like a Steph Curry to me almost without the great jump shot, you know.
You have James Wiseman, a center, 7'1", coming out of Memphis. You have Danny Avdija. I know I murdered that name, a small forward, 6'9". You have Onika Okwangwu, 6'9", another center out of USC. You got Obi Toppin, 6'9", another power forward. So, to me, you don't have as many folks that kind of stand out in previous drafts. Not saying that won't be a good pick for any teams and not minimizing their impact. But like Tyrone is saying, what is a team's need at this moment? As everybody now is trying to load the deck in the West against the Lakers, because the Lakers have a tremendous amount of bigs and they're trying to secure guard play. Houston found out small ball doesn't work. D'Antoni is gone. You're looking at the Spurs trying to rebuild something. They never stayed down for long. And Golden State is trying to get healthy again. And then in the East, you have Brooklyn Nets. They're going to get 2 stars back in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant to add to the roster they have. Who else is in the East that's trying to make a run? You know, Doc is now at Philadelphia. Doc Rivers is there. He's trying to make a team. And so people are trying to stack the deck with proven rifles, like we try to say. If you have a proven rifle, you want to put that in your arsenal to try to build upon what you have. Who is looking for young talent to add to their rosters?
You know, I think this is a draft where you go with, other than Golden State, I think Golden State, the clear pick for them would be to get Wiseman. Because as we talk about, you have to match up with your rivals in the West. In order to come out of the West, you have to match up with the West. And they have so many talented bigs out there. When you play the Lakers, you got Anthony Davis, possibly Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee that you have to match up with. And they don't have anybody currently on their roster that's close to able to defend Anthony Davis or any of the bigs on the Lakers, you know. So you know they're going to do ground and pound basketball with you there. So Wiseman to me is the clear pick if I'm Golden State. But everywhere else, I think you just draft the best player and not worry about need. Because as you said, Don, it's not a game-changing draft where there's franchise players just coming out of the ears. Like, everybody knew Zion was the number 1 pick, that he was a franchise cornerstone type player. In my mind, you don't have that in this particular draft. So you just get the best possible player.
Yeah, neither do you have the time to develop it, because if the season is going to start after Christmas,
that's a good point.
We're looking at the truncated football season where they didn't have time to develop their players. So you have some defensive squads that have some starters that really don't know the system and don't know the scheme, and they're being picked on by these quarterbacks. Well, the same thing's going to happen in the NBA. I think it's the year of packaging things for free agents, and the wealth will come for another team next year. But, I mean, if I was the Lakers, you know, I'll try to go get a free agent rather than scoop up somebody. I'll package up somebody, you know. Or Golden State Warriors, they need to win now. Steph Curry is older than you think he is, you know. Minnesota Timberwolves, they got Big Cat on there he's ready to win. You can't really start over with them, right? Yeah. So they can't afford to just get a draft pick and think that that's going to take the time to develop it. No. So in a truncated season and truncated like usually you put your people in a D League or put people in their little scrimmages and let them learn systems and learn. But they don't have time for that now. It's November. They say the season's going to start up after Christmas, right?
December
you can't
25th.
develop any players. Right. So like Don said, some of these cats, like the guy out of Georgia, who is a scorer, you might be apt to get him because he's going to give you buckets off the bench, whatever, rather than develop somebody like a center that you got to get them to run up and down, get conditioned and stuff like that. You know, I would go with somebody who can give me instant offense or something, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm certainly with that. I mean, like we said, not too many game changes in this draft. And with the season, as you said, Tyrone, being shortened, you want to give somebody who's going to give you bang for your buck, immediate, you know, impact right off the bat. I mean, to me, Edwards, a guy from Georgia who's a swingman who's rumored to go to Golden State as well. To me, he doesn't put you over the top if you Golden State at the number 2, because you just basically have a bunch of guards with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, him, Draymond Green running around out there, okay? And that does nothing to slow down Anthony Davis at all, okay? So to me, I mean, he's just another wing scorer. You already have Wiggins over there. I don't think they've traded him yet. And LaMelo, I think that's a good fit for Minnesota with Big Cat. He's been playing with pro ball players in Australia this year.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
Right, so he's kind of out of that high school mind frame of shooting bad shots. He's just been feeding the big guys and making them happy, penetrating, dishing, and making an open shot. So he's already played the pro game. So his game is more likely to translate into the pro game quicker. And then the guy, Don, you mentioned, the guy from Israel, that guy, he's reminds me a lot of Danilo Gallinari. Dino Raveggia, whatever his name is. I butchered his name. Right. I butchered his name also. I watched a lot of his clips on YouTube the other day, and he reminds me a lot of Danilo Gallinari, a guy who's good at a lot of different things, but not great at any particular thing, like a multi-tool, a Swiss Army knife type player. To me, a player like the Hawks could use a guy like that really, really well. So you won't be so concentrating on Trae Young all the time. A Swiss Army knife will work really, really well, in my opinion. And I think Cleveland needs Obi-Wan the most. They need a force offensively and defensively, you know, that they can hang, because we don't know if Andre Drummond is going to come back. He was a free agent when he signed with Cleveland.
I like what you did there with the force that he needs to be in.
That's right. These are not the draft picks you are looking for. That's all I have, guys. So let's put a little wager on Brook and Terence Crawford. What are y'all saying on? Is everybody pulling Crawford, or is somebody going for the upset with Brook?
No.
Yeah,
that's why we think Tyrone about the Brownies and all that kind of stuff. That's not your guy.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
No, I was just giving us the info from the other side. I mean,
look, this is what I want to say. Crawford is looking at this thing as a stepping stone to fight the win out of Garcia and Spence.
Okay.
So whoever wins this bout is going to get a one-way track to that, or Pacquiao. So that's some money. Floyd Mayweather says he's coming out of retirement, but I'm going for Crawford, though. You know.
Crawford? Are you saying Crawford decision, Crawford knockout?
Crawford decision.
Don?
Unanimous, though. It'll be easy.
Thing. Crawford unanimous decision. I don't think knockout.
Well, I'm going to put myself out there, and I have Crawford with a TKO.
I mean, that could happen. I ain't going to bet against you.
Right.
You know.
Well, guys,
I'll buy you a drink or something.
That's always good, because I'm empty right now, so that's fine. You know.
Hey, can I ask one question before
Absolutely.
we go? What did y'all think about the beat down that the Saints put on Tampa Bay and Tom Brady?
Oh, I enjoyed every moment.
I'm gonna tell you, it was excellent, and it was a shock for me, because I was sitting on the edge of my seat thinking, okay, here we go, we're gonna get into a slugfest with these two teams, and I thought Tampa Bay's front line was gonna wreak havoc on our run game, and we were game plan and ready for these people.
Tyrone, I mean, that speaks to your point, because the week before this game, you called it. You said you can't just throw pieces out there and think you're going to be successful in football, because it's the ultimate team sport. You said it's not like you got all these names and you're going to win right away.
And, you know, the coach alluded to it for Tampa Bay when they asked him, why didn't he target Mike Evans? and he says Mike was open a lot.
Hmm.
And when you look back at what he said, what he really was saying was, the coach never wanted AB there. Tom Brady said he wanted him in. So it seemed like the coach was saying the reason why we didn't target Mike Evans because they was targeting Antonio Brown all the time.
Force-feeding Antonio Brown.
Force-feeding him. And if you look at the game, it was like that they were trying to get on the same page. And I'm like, man, that's just what we're talking about with chemistry is you're going to try to force the ball to a person. Let the game come to you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's not the day to try it. But I knew that the Saints were going to step up as soon as they saw Antonio Brown on the other side of the field.
Right. No, that was like I said, I enjoyed every moment of that. The Saints looked like, the old Saints with their peak distributed to a whole bunch of different receivers, not targeting one guy like we had in the past because we only had Michael Thomas. But now, and don't forget, we could have put 50 on him. Jared Cook fumbled on the one and dropped one pass in the end zone. That would have been 2 more touchdowns they could have put on. So there's a lot to say for chemistry,
One thing I didn't like, though, at the end of the game, Tom Brady didn't come out and kneel the ball down. He let the backup quarterback come in for that one play, just kneel down. I thought that was just like, man, as a leader, man, you should come out there and say, hey, man, I sucked the whole game. I'm going to go ahead and kneel it down. Don't send in the backup quarterback to do it. You ain't going to get hurt on that play. Nobody going to dive across there and jump on you.
Take your lumps.
Take your lumps.
You the captain.
That would have spoke volumes.
Take your lumps.
So, man, This is NFC South now, baby. This ain't AFC East anymore, bro. You ain't got no Dolphins and Jets to pick on and could just fly into the playoffs. Them days is over. You're the NFC
Dolphins,
South.
Jets, and Buffalo. Remember, Buffalo used to be sad.
Sad Buffalo, too. Not Jim Kelly Buffalo.
No.
Sad Buffalo. You the NFC now, friend. Things can change. Well, guys, I'm going to sign off on this one. I want the special guest, Dorian Rawles. Thanks, y'all, for watching another episode of Shoot the J. And we'll catch y'all next week.
Later.
Later.